Yo, it got real as F right here, y'all. Even though this issue is littered with a whole bunch of propaganda, the war and the action is real. So first things first, welcome to Reviews from the Six. My name is Cedric, but you can call me Ceddy Said. And today we are reviewing Waller versus Wildstorm. Yep. So of course you see the cover art. That's what got me, right? At first I'm like, who is this Wesley Snipe looking brother? And the funny story to that is that the same day this was released, or the same week at least, they had The Exiles out, which is also by Wesley Snipes. So I was just weak. Like, I'm looking at this picture and then I'm looking at that cover art and I'm like, which Wesley Snipes do I get? I don't know. But then of course I became more interested because I'm looking at all the other characters and I'm like, I don't know who these people are. And right there, even though that looks like a young Oprah, that's supposed to be Amanda Waller. And then you already know who this guy is. Deathstroke. He doesn't need no introduction. And then everything else was kind of a surprise to me, right? Even our Wesley Snipe brother right here was kind of a surprise when I found that out. But anyways, let's go ahead and get through the art because that's what we cover first, right? Y'all see it? I just enjoyed it, man. So it is kind of large, as you see. It's like a pamphlet in a way. But what I like about it is that it kind of has like that black exploitation feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Like that Black Dynamite feel or that Dolomite feel. Like I said, it's kind of large. And then I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't show you this last page here because y'all, when I mean it's a cliffhanger and I can't wait to get to the next issue, even though I am kind of confused on what's going on in some places. We'll go ahead and continue with that when we get into the story. But here we go with the art. Like, I absolutely thought it was good. I love the art, actually. Look at that. Just so beautiful. Like, you see all the action. And that's what I mean. Like, even though it is kind of confusing with the storyline and it kind of goes back and forth and only takes place in like a diner, you're kind of like, yeah, I still just loved it. So anyways, let's get right into the setting. So this takes place in 1980. And in 1980, you have a couple places or a couple countries. You have Gomorrah. Let me see what else you have here. I know you had Gomorrah for sure. You had El Salvador as well. So at this time, there's a Cold War going on. Now, they don't tell you really what the Cold War is about, but it kind of starts with a guy who's in a hoodie and he's just telling you the law of the land, right? Hey, the Kaizen here, pretty much, is supposed to be ruling everything. But they're not the ones in charge. They're actually the terrorists. However, the American affiliates, or us Americans, we protect them and guard them, even though they're the evil ones. But we're at war right now with the so-called righteous ones. And we all hear that through everything, right? As the old saying goes, one man's patriot is another man's villain, or one man's hero is another man's villain, something like that, right? Along those lines. Anyways, that's what it is, right? So he's pretty much telling the reporter, hey, you here for the wrong reasons. You should be checking on this. Instead, you here questioning me, trying to shut me down and figure out what I got going on over here, lady. Like, get up out of here. So it's kind of funny because they cut to a scene where they have a woman on the board and the military is like kind of having target practice, right? And come to find out, that's the next character, right? So the reporter, if you don't know by now, is no other than Lois Lane. I thought that was cool. Now, of course, they don't tell you right away that it's Lois Lane, but as the story goes on and you find out that it's a Daily Planet and the conversation that goes on, you're like, oh, okay, we got Lois there, right? So Lois is reporting on everything. And she's just pretty much like, okay, if that's the case, then tell us why you are the good guys, pretty much. And he really didn't have an answer besides, it's us, the people, they got the money, so they're pursuing everything. So even though that is going on, Lois is looking around and she's like, but if that's the case, you guys are at war with a banker? Like, we're not protecting a banker. We're here because you guys are trying to assassinate a banker. And he pretty much goes into a long detail about family history and ties and how the people's supposed to have the power, but because she's a banker, she has an agenda going on that no one's trying to stop, and they know of the agenda and they're trying to stop it. So Lois Lane, of course, goes back to her employer and is like, hey, this is the story. And her employer is like, look, this is all propaganda, man. Kind of like if it sounds confusing because it's all propaganda. So with the propaganda, you have to figure out who's telling the truth. And I kind of like that element of this issue because in a lot of the stories, it's you trying to figure out, okay, what side are you on? Who is telling the truth in the story? So long story short, she's talking to her boss. Her boss is like, no, I'm not going to accept this because it's propaganda, dude. Like, get up out of here with all that. No, we don't think there's a secret force going on or any racketeering or, any smuggling of people, all that good stuff. So all of a sudden she gets a letter in the mail and she opens it up. It's an envelope and it's a guy saying, hey, I need to meet with you because I got a whole story to tell you, girl. Like, wait till I tell you this. You going to be surprised. And then that's where our Wesley Snipes looking brother comes into play, right? And it's funny because his name, you think it's memorable, but it is Commander Jackson King. Like, it couldn't get more stereotypical than that, but that's why I love this issue, because like I said, it's in the 1980s, and with the not the black noir, but with the blaxploitation like vibe to it, I kind of dug it. But he goes by the name of Battalion. That's his superhero name, right? Not even a superhero, but long story short, there are a couple groups at war right now. And with the Cold War going on, everybody has like a secret faction within the war. However, he really doesn't have a secret faction. It is a part of the government that they kind of keep secret. And they're all black. So they're all of color. But they get hustled into before war or while war is going on. They are sent in to gather up all the metahumans, bring them back and get them tested. And the testing is torture, right? They're trying to see if the metahuman abilities are brought on by stress, pain, all that other good stuff, right? So now that's where you get Wildstorm from, right? And then within Wildstorm, you have Checkmate. So Checkmate is actually the faction that is the people of color, right? Wildstorm is kind of like all the good guys in one place, which they really don't go into detail about, but they kind of got a few characters that kind of separate the factions, which makes you understand it a little bit more. Not a whole lot, but a little bit more. But anyway, so she's meeting with Jackson at a deli, and at the deli, he's just telling her everything. He's like, I need you to tell my story. And that's where I was kind of confused on, because I'm like, with you being Battalion or, this guy who has so much notoriety in the 80s for being a hero, why don't you just go out publicly and tell a story? So you got to keep that in mind. Like I said, when you're reading this story, it's a lot of stuff that you have to figure out, a lot of stuff you got to put in perspective. So anyways, he's telling her the story. Hey, this is what's going on with Checkmate. Here's my story. This is how I know, or this is my fight in the game, right? So long story short, he gets wind that one of his crewmates is being held hostage at the torture chamber. He arrives to the torture chamber. Now, let me back up just a little bit. So before he goes into the dialogue, he's like, hey, do you know who Amanda Waller is? And she's like, no, I don't know who Amanda Waller is. And he like, this chick, just wait till I tell you about her. So fast forward now to where we at. So he gets word that, one of his crewmates are held captive at the torture chamber. So when he arrives, he ends up like taking on another member, which I believe his name is Winter, another member of Wildstorm. And they're talking about Checkmate. Hey, I don't know how you became the leader of Checkmate, dude. Like, you're supposed to be this great technician and you arrived here late. Your buddy is already dead, so forth, so forth. So they get into a fight and he pretty much like shows his ability. So he has the ability of like Side Blast, and he kind of just makes mincemeat of the dude real quick. So long story short, while that's happening, Amanda Waller pops up, and Amanda Waller is like, she can't believe her eyes, right? She's like, oh my God, she's starstruck. She's like, oh my God, it's Battalion. I love you as a black man, as a black woman. I love everything you do for the people, your cause, so forth, so forth. And she's sitting down to him, telling them how much she idolizes them and all this good stuff, right? So keep in mind, there's a few dead bodies and all this stuff going on. So Amanda Waller's pretty much saying, hey, I'm new here. Please don't do any more damage because I'll be, kicked out of, I don't want to have a job anymore. I'll be kicked out of the program. So he's like, all right, boom, I won't do any more damage. So Kane pops up, and I think it's Daisy Kane who you see here. Daisy Kane pops up and she's like, what's going on? And Amanda Waller just straight up lies. She straight up says, Battalion did it all, right? Now, I don't want to do any spoilers here. So they dive into how Amanda Waller is just like this two-faced serpent, and the way they did it was well. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. It made me hate Amanda Waller, and it makes me get invested more in her, where I want to actually grab some Suicide Squad comics and read through that just so I can get that feel of her, like a real villain, like someone you really, really just don't like. Like, they go deep into that, and they do a great job with it. So anyways, another part is that you're trying to figure out, okay, is Battalion telling the truth? Because Lois Lane, as the reporter, she's going deep with her questioning. And it gets so deep to where he just gets frustrated and he wants to leave. And he's just like, you know what? I'm over it. It's all on you. I don't care what you do with this story at this point. I'm telling you something. You need to tell the people that. Get the truth out there. Bye. I'm gone. And she's like, hold up. Wait. Yo, don't go anywhere. And then that's where we end. And that's why I can't show you the last page of this issue. Like, I really enjoyed it, y'all. Like, at first, the first couple pages, it was a tough read. I was just like, nah, I really don't care about it, man. Like, there's so many factions going on, so many groups, so many subplots, so many stories. I mean, they jump back a year ago, 6 months from now. This is that person. But like I said, there's a few things in here that's going to keep you invested, because once you start finding out like the smuggling of the metahumans, you're like, yo, that's pretty dope. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff I didn't want to get into to prevent spoilers. But anyways, if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, become family. Go ahead and hit that like button, because I want you to see content like this in your news feed, right? So make sure you hit that so you can let YouTube algorithm know you want to see more of your boy Said He Said reviewing content like this. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell. I don't want you to miss any future uploads. Also, share this video to any and all social media platforms, especially and specifically to anyone you think this would be cool too. And then down in the comments, let me know what you think about this issue. Was it worth it to you? I saw a couple reviews. A lot of people didn't like it because it's kind of like old school and it kind of has a lot of propaganda in it, but I really did like it, y'all. So let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Even if you read The Exile, I kind of want to get into that next, but I don't know. But yeah, with that being said, thank you for making this far. Peace, love, and blessings.